It's Big Marv!
In the World Wide Web, they call the internet, with different types of social media. Store the information sort of like encyclopedia.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you, Marv?
Pretty good. Just giving it a few minutes to see if anybody else shows up before I dive into it.
Cool. How's your day been?
Pretty good so far. You know, not too many fires to put out. So,
That's always a plus.
yeah. It's better than the beginning of the week, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've had a day of fires.
And then setting up more engagement campaigns to clean out my list. I've been working heavily on cleaning out an old database that I have.
That's always fun.
Yeah, I have to filter through 1,800 shiny toy buyers. But I've cleaned about 1,000 of them off of there now. We'll see how much deeper I'll have to go for it.
Now, it's fairly easy to upload your contacts into the system, right?
Oh yeah. Here's do a CSV file.
Uh-huh.
The first row, each column is like, like name, email, phone, like even down to all the custom fields, because, like if you create a form and you have like custom questions that you ask, even down to the custom fields, you can set custom fields for each column and map them whenever you upload them. You can even add a tag to them when you upload them. So like if you got a list in Zoho, for example, and a list in like Red Lion, you could export both, and then when you upload them, apply a tag that says like Zoho import or MailChimp import, and keep them segregated. Like I use tags to segregate everything, but
Okay.
it's pretty easy to get in there and upload to your list.
Oh, good deal. Because I was going to upload my contacts, and I have a little over 1,000 to put in there, so that I'll move over.
And there's no limit on contacts, so you can put as many as you want in there.
Oh, nice. Because I'd like to start getting that list built and get it bigger.
That's the dream, right?
That's right.
Build the list big enough, then you never have to worry about anything again. You just have to keep building that list.
And what would you say is a prime list number to have for like the number of people?
On the niche.
Okay.
But like e-com stores, you want 100K plus. But if you're, I've seen high ticket coaches that only have a list of, 2,000 to 3,000, and they make a pretty good income from it. But I've also managed lists for high ticket coaches that have like 500,000 to 1 million subscribers. So like when you get to 1 million subscribers, like pretty much every promo we ran, we made 6 figures.
Okay. Because I was curious, because mine's pretty broad. It's, for real estate agents and small business owners.
You do want to run tags and isolate it, because the key to marketing is the right message to the right person at the right time. So as long as you use tags and you send out the right newsletters every week to the right audiences, you should be able to keep them engaged. Like, because that's the important part. It's not necessarily the number of the list, because like right now you have 1,000 people, but you got to keep that 1,000 people warm, because
engaged.
if you have 1,000 people that don't open, then there's no point. It's like having 5,000 friends on Facebook, but if nobody's engaging in those posts, it's pointless.
Yeah, I just finished up my Facebook group that I'm gonna open, because I have like 30 days of content in there. Use it as a free group and a calling card.
Yeah, you should always have like a free group as a lead acquisition hub for everything that you do. So, and as long as you're consistent with content in there, you should be able to maintain engagement. And Facebook groups usually pick up and take off on their own once you get them over 1,000 members, because that's the point. Like if it's a highly engaged group with 1,000 members, that's when people are inviting their friends and everything into the group. So it pretty much runs and maintains itself. Like my sister, her group is now up to like 15,000 members, and she doesn't do anything but run her scheduled posts in there.
Oh, wow.
And then like because now it's gotten to such a big size of engaged people there, she's like accepting 50 to 100 member requests every day.
Well, and it's always good to have a lead capture in there for capturing email, correct?
Yeah, you want one of the three questions to always be what's your email address.
Right.
Like, but you want it to align with like whatever it is. So like I believe in the Wave Makers group, it's like what's your email so I can send you my blueprint and best email templates or something along those
Yeah.
lines. So for you, you'd want to just tie it into whatever your lead magnet is. Like enter your email so I can send you my ebook on the top 10 ways to do whatever. And then that way, when you get their email address, and there's a couple different ways that you can do it. There's like Chrome extensions that you can use. I think it's called Group Convert is the one that I use. And Group Convert, what it does is it basically you link it up to a Google sheet, and then whenever you approve member requests, it automatically takes their names, the answers to their questions and everything, and puts it into a Google sheet. And then I just upload that Google sheet to the platform and tag them and drop them into the automation sequence.
Cool.
And now I don't even personally do it. I have a VA that manages my group. And
I want to get it to where I can just set my VA to that's her job.
Well, if you
So
already
I'm not
have,
doing so much admin work.
if you already have content like scheduled, it should only take them 2 or 3 hours a week to manage the group from there.
Yeah, and I love my VA. I don't know what I did without her.
That's what I've been saying for years. I tell everybody, man, like the first thing you should do as an entrepreneur is get a VA. Then then
she's
worry
been a
about
dream.
everything else.
Yeah, because I just send her a message through my WhatsApp, and I'm like, I need you to do this, this, and this, and she's like, on it.
Yeah.
Gets it all done. I'm like, yay.
And it relieves you from having to do a lot of tedious manual tasks that consume a lot of your time.
On top of the fact she's really cheap. I'm like, this is really cheap. I mean, she's in Nigeria, but what the hell? She gets the job done.
Oh yeah, my VA is in the Philippines. So.
Well, like right now, I only pay her like $50 a week, and even when it's not her scheduled time, she'll still go in there and maintain different pages along my social media and stuff.
And then the longer they stick with you, typically the more tasks you give them, and it elevates their pay. Like Ford, I'm working into being like his only client.
Yeah, because I'd like to get it because she's really good and she's right on target, and she'll actually tell me, I don't like that idea. That's a really bad idea for a call to action. You should do something like this. And I'm like, right on. And so far it's worked.
All right. Well, I'm not going to wait any longer for anyone else to jump in. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive into it. Now, since you've already committed and gotten a What's Next account, would you like me to just go through how to implement the strategy for yourself and your brand since you showed up to the training?
Absolutely.
All right. So yours is Explosive Impact Mastery, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. So when you log into your account, if you go under funnel, you'll see there's a couple different funnel examples. Now, before I dive into it, I want to go into the strategy of the dual funnel system and why it works the way it works. So I've designed it to sell a high ticket product, essentially coach some kind of coaching high ticket course, 8-week, 12-week course, what most course creators, content creators and coaches have. And we do that with a lead magnet. If they don't, after they take the lead magnet, we immediately invite them to jump on a call, because that's where you're going to sell cold traffic. If it's a high ticket offer, you need to jump on a call with them. And then if they take the call, then we book a call. And then once they book that call, we drive them to a survey. Now, not everybody will fill out this survey, but the percentage of people that do will likely be highly aligned leads and more likely to close. Myself personally, close 80 to 90% of people that fill out the survey and that actually align. And then if they don't take you up on booking a call, then we immediately invite them to a training, very similar to this training that you're attending right now. I do a training every week so I can dive into the dual funnel system, show people exactly what it is, give them strategies live, just like I'm doing for you, so I can show them how well this will work for their business, but also show them that I'm the authority figure in this, so my team can build it, right? Because I have my high ticket offer where it's my team will build this, implement it for you, manage it. So all you have to do is create content over the course of 90 days. So that's the whole reason I do this. And that's essentially you're replicating my strategy that's worked for me for the last 3 years. We've been dialing in this system. This is the exact system that every one of my students that pay me for one-on-one consulting and coaching, this is what we take them through. So what you'll see inside of the funnels are a bunch of different examples of the dual funnel system that we've launched for different personal brands. Now, it all depends on the lead magnet. You'll see some of these are 23 steps, some of these are 3 steps, right? So the Miss B funnel is a little bit about her brand. Is she is part of an MLM, and she recruits into her MLM through her weekly discovery sessions. So she created a lead magnet to get people to opt in. And then once they opt in, because basically her lead magnet is 10 tips on recruiting and closing, right? Because that's the biggest part of her team, is she teaches you how to recruit and build your team. That's the part of being an MLM. You got to have that team to make any real money. So once they opt in, they invite her to a discovery call, and it goes through the same session, but she has a video series as her lead magnet, and so all of her training series pages are in here. And you can see these all follow the same strategy. They just have slightly different designs based on the personal brand that we built and implemented it for. Concrete Coatings, these guys are local service industries, so they literally book a consultation and go through their calendar, and we wrote automation for that. You'll see when you download it, you'll see the automation examples for them. Meta Meditation, this is an ebook download, as is Lead Magnet. These guys, the 21-day game changer, they have video training. DYP, this is an ebook with order bump, because he actually has a full value stack where they download an ebook, goes to a low ticket product. So you guys that have like a course where maybe you have like a $7 offer, then it goes to a $47 offer, then a $97 offer. That's essentially the stack that he has in here. So that's what we run through on this. SLOW stands for self-liquidating offer, meaning every dollar that we put into this funnel for Dr. Kev, we got two or more dollars back. The core booking funnel is the part 2 of the dual funnel system. It's called dual funnel system because we run 2 funnels parallel. So as you can see in the strategy, since we're driving people to book a call, you can imagine in the email follow-up, that's the #1 call to action that we use. Now, because this funnel should be pixeled for traffic, this book a call page is going to have a certain pixel event that's going to be different than if they visit the page via email or something along those lines. And so we developed the core booking funnel as the core booking funnel that you can drive traffic to. So like, let's say you're doing organic outreach and you're like, hey, jump on my calendar so we can chat and see what I can do for you. Or maybe you're running paid ads and you're like, hey, jump on my calendar. Or you're emailing people like through your email follow-up after they opt in. This is where you're driving traffic. So it's set up the same way where they're going to book, then we're going to send them a survey to fill out, and then there's a confirmation. Now you'll notice something else in here is the results page. Now this is what's going to sell cold traffic for you. So when you visit the core booking page, you know, what you have on here might not be enough to sell them. So we build in client results so they can visit the client results page and see some of your testimonials. So once you start building and getting proof and getting testimonials, you can add those in here. And I made these sections very easy to clone. So as you get more and more results, you can just continue to build this out. Because typically, you know, if it's not enough from the front page to book with you, they can look at your results and that might be enough to sell them and drive them back to your core booking page.
Now that would be where the beta program actually comes in to benefit me, correct?
Right. So because when you run your beta program, that's where you're going to get your first round of testimonials and social proof. So every single person you put through the beta program, you're going to want to collect a video testimonial. Like that's the most optimum. If they give you a written one, all right, but most optimum is going to be a video testimonial that you can fill this page out with. So whenever you release the full program to the public, when you go from beta to your official launch and you charge more, you can say this validates my price because you can see the results that I achieved for these other students.
Gotcha.
And then the what's next replay. So in this results page, because you might have some cold traffic where even the results aren't enough. So I have an exit intent pop-up on here. So if they try to exit without booking a call with me, I say, hey, go to my weekly training. And all it is a replay of this training. So every week after the training, I take the recording, upload it, and load it into this page. Now this page is very, very similar to the results page with the exception that I've added the training at the top. So you can see every Thursday night, there's live session with Big Marv. So I just add this. This was, you know, the last training that I did live. And then I just add more client results to the bottom because I'm just going to shove it down their throat. And if we align, they're going to jump on my calendar and we're going to make this happen. And then join Motivated Maniacs. This is my actual checkout page. So if I have them on the phone and they're ready to take action and pay for the product, you can integrate Stripe with the platform, add your products in, and have this billing page ready to go when you're on the phone with them and collect their credit card.
Okay, because I integrated my Stripe account on there earlier today.
So that's what that page is for in the core booking funnel. So like when you're on the phone with them and you're ready to take their information, there's a 2-step order form in here where you can enter their information in and collect their card. You can even send them directly to the link and say, hey, I'm going to email you a link. Just go on there and make the payment. Because some people like taking the payment over the phone. Some people like emailing it. I personally used to be the guy that said, I'll just email you an invoice, pay it, take care of it. But then you create that awkward tension where sometimes you're just chasing that invoice down. You're like, hey, I want to get started. Like you committed to the program. Are you ready to go? When I started charging like upfront, like let's do this, let's take care of it. Those are typically the students I see the most success with. They're just like, yep, let's go, I'm ready. So it's actually increased my revenue and increased like my success rate by just changing to charging right there over the phone during the sales call. I got that pro tip from my coach, so I can't take all the credit for that.
It sounds pretty good though.
Yeah. He even said, because like part of the contract process is getting a card on file, right? So then when you have the follow-up call of like after they sign the contract and stuff, it's like, so you want me to just go ahead and charge the card on file? And it's like such an easy close because they're like, oh yeah, might as well, let's do it, you already have the card. It's surprising how much psychology goes into sales calls.
Yeah, well, you say that, and I realize how many times I've fallen for that.
Right? Because now that you're thinking about it, you're like, and the more of my trainings you come to, because you've already had a sales call with me, right? Like I was a little bit more lax with you just because we personally know each other, we've met in person, you know, but
Yeah.
like, that was my whole process, right? I showed you the system and then was like, here's the price, this is how we go through it, you know, and eventually you're going to keep showing up to these trainings, realize how much time it takes to build and manage this thing, and eventually hopefully you'll be in a position where you're like, all right, I'm just gonna have Big Marv and his team take care of it, you know. It's like,
Yeah, I just need that pricing again.
for Tamara and anybody else that watches this replay, it's $5K for 90 days, or we split it into 3 payments if you can't do the whole $5K up front.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. I was just double checking.
Okay. So now, before I move into the email campaigns, do you have any questions on like the funnel strategy?
No, that makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. And I'll dive into the builder here in a second. I just want to go into an overview of everything before I dive into the builder. So now when you check campaigns, you'll notice that there's a bunch of campaigns pre-built for you. Now, these are not templates. I repeat, these are not templates. You will not be able to just copy, paste, run with these. What these are live examples of like, this is how I write copy. You should go into this, rewrite this in your own voice to whatever your offer is. It's not going to make any damn sense if you just turn these campaigns on and run them. But you should, as long as you pay attention and read it, you'll be able to tell like, oh, he's walking them through a journey, giving them actionable steps. And if you guys check the download, so
Well, because I've actually been paying close attention to all of the emails that are actually coming to me from you from getting the blueprint, and going, and I read every single one of your emails that come through because the copy is insane.
yeah, I have to give my little brother Eric all the credit on that. He's my copywriter, but he knows me so well, it sounds like I wrote it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's just top notch for sure.
Thank you. I'll let him know that too. So you guys, when you downloaded the dual funnel system, you should have gotten an email like this with an actual Google Drive link. Now in here, you'll see a bunch of email follow-up examples. So I gave you my personal dual funnel system follow-up, but these are some examples from some of my other motivated maniacs that have graduated the program. These are the live email examples that we use for them that got results. And every single one of them are custom tailored email campaigns that my copywriter wrote for them. And they all, you just study it. That's all I got to say is you just got to read through it and you'll just notice how every single day is, okay, this is where you should be at. This is where we are in the journey now, and this is where I want to take you next. Because the idea is creating a 30-day follow-up sequence to get someone to consume your content, because the human brain you need to do something consistently for 21 days. And now there's even been new studies out saying that it's more like 50 days or 60 days because humans move at such a fast pace now because of technology advancements that they need to actually consume stuff for longer to turn it into a habit. So you want to do at least the minimum of 30 days of the follow-up, taking them through a journey, because when they download your lead magnet, you got to think about your client avatar and where are they at right now in their journey and where are you going to take them next, because you have your big high ticket core offer, but if they're downloading your lead magnet, they might not be in the position to take you up on that high ticket offer. So what you have to do is from the lead magnet to your high ticket offer, so you have to craft that journey to give them steps to change their life enough to trust you as the authority figure to take you up on the high ticket offer to help them change their life. So if you look at the DFS follow-up, that's the core follow-up of after you opt in for the dual funnel system and all the steps that I get you to take. You'll notice that it's day 1 all the way to 31, and it's a full 31-day sequence. As Timmer says, she opens the emails every day and part of the reason you open it up every day and consume it is because I give you the actionable steps to take, right? It's not just like, oh, it's another email. Is that one of the reasons you download or you read it every day as well?
Yeah, I mean, because you're like personally hand holding that person that's reading the email.
Yeah, exactly. So when you read it, I want you to do the same thing for your tribe, for your lead magnet. I want you to handhold them and walk them through the same journey. Now, remember, I told you guys we're running a core booking funnel to get people in your calendar. Now, when people go in your calendar, of course, they're not going to show up. They're going to forget that they booked that call. So this call reminders, now we've tested thousands of leads with a bunch of different follow-up campaigns, different time structures, different notifications, blended with emails and text reminders. And this has been the strategy that has converted the highest for us, that's gotten the most amount of show ups. So these are going to be a little bit easier for you because they are a little bit more templated. So when you do modify them, you can just go into here. You'll see a blank spot here where you can upload your own cover photo. And then you just modify this to your language. So, but you can see it's very simple. You probably don't introduce yourself. Like I say, yo, first name. You might not say yo when you introduce yourself to people. You might say hey or hi or whatever else. And then you just reword this for you. You might not use Zoom. You might call them by their phone number. You might use Skype. You might use something else. But basically, you want to update this. Obviously, your group is not called the Wavemakers with Big Marv, so you'd want to put whatever your free Facebook group, just like I was saying earlier, you want to have some kind of free group where you're providing value to let people get to know you, but you're also using that as a lead acquisition hub where you're collecting email addresses and information about people to find out if they align. Every single person that joins your group, you should add them on Facebook, shoot them a message, personally welcome them to your group, get to know them a little bit, and see if you can get them on your calendar. See if you can get them to book a call with you. That's the part of the organic strategy of when you're doing this, because you're driving so many people to your Facebook group now. Go the extra step by friending them, personally welcoming them, and starting that conversation. Because if they're joining your group, they already see you as some sort of authority figure. So that'll help you find out exactly where they're at, and you'll be more likely to close them versus like just a cold person on a Facebook post. And then down here are like your just operational links. I've already preset the variables for you. So these are the variables needed by the platform. If you don't like the red, you can just highlight the text and click this little text color here, change it to whatever color you want. But you do need these operational links. Like it does exactly what it says. This is the one to add to Google Calendar. This is the one to add to Outlook or iCalendar. This is the one to reschedule the meeting. This is the one to cancel. Now down here is pre-populated variables for location name and location address. These are also pulled from the platform. So you can either leave these variables in here, and I'll show you where to set that information, or you can just type in here. You can put like, what is it? Explosive impact is the name of yours. You can do that. You can just put explosive impact. I forgot the full name of it, but you could just type it in there, or you can let it pull, and then click here to unsubscribe. You'll notice in the funnel that I built an unsubscribe page. I'll show you guys the triggers when we get to that part, but basically, legally, whenever you send marketing emails out, you have to give people the option to unsubscribe from your list. So this is how we do that. is by having the unsubscribe link here. So that is for call reminders. And then DFS training, this is for your weekly training. So if they register for your weekly training, the same thing as the call reminders, I've run hundreds of webinars for people, and we've tested hundreds of different email automation, different strategies, and this is the one that gets the most amount of show ups and the most amount of people watching your training.
Do you suggest doing webinars?
If you have a high ticket product, yeah.
Okay.
It also depends on if you're running paid traffic. You know, if you're running paid traffic, it throws in, you know, a variable that you don't have with organic traffic. If you're now, I personally do a hybrid method where I run paid ads to keep consistent downloads of my lead magnet, and that brings people booking on my calendar. But then I do, because of what I do is, you know, a high ticket item, and because you need to see a lot of it visually to kind of understand what I do, it saves me time from having to do that for every single person. For the people that just doubt what the system can do, I hold these live trainings because at the end of this, it's like, okay, you've seen the system, you've seen what it can do. If you volunteered to let me do it live for you, you already know how the strategy can personally work for you and your business. So jump on my calendar and let's do this if you're ready. If you don't want to do a weekly training, you could just, you know, run straight to your booking. You just have to stay on top of producing content. And when you run ads, you'd have to run ads, build up your lead magnet, build up the retargeting audience, then start retargeting that audience to get people booking directly to your calendar. Yes, it can be done with paid ads, but I never like to put all my eggs in one basket. So I run ads and I do this training because I make sales from both.
That makes sense.
And then you'll see training in evergreen is because I recommend doing trainings like this live for 4 to 6 weeks minimum. You might even have to do it longer depending on how many people show up to the training, right? So like this is a brand new training. I just started it. This is the second time I've held a live training, right? So I'm going to be doing this exact dual funnel system training for the next 6 weeks. And then I'll look at all the data, see how many people showed up, how many sales I made from which ones, and whichever one was the one that produced the best numbers for me, I'm going to turn that into my evergreen webinar. So then I don't have to actually show up and do these lives every week. Whatever that one that produced the highest amount of sales is going to be able to continue to produce those sales. Now I might choose to reshoot it once a year, you know, retest it every year to redo it. But once you have the first one dialed in, that's pretty much what it is. You just run that evergreen webinar till you're no longer getting the ROI that you want. Then you just rinse and repeat. Run a live one for another 4 to 6 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks if you're not happy with the data that you get in that time. Turn it into an evergreen webinar again. Watch the numbers, because like once you launch it and you're running paid traffic, it's all a number game after that.
Right.
You can just logically make decisions based on number because you have the volume to do that. When you get 100 people through your campaign sequence in here, if you're looking at looking at the data, oh yeah, this is a demo account, so it's not, or this is not live yet, so it's not going to show any actual real data. Let's go into here. Right, so you can see you'll actually get this live data. So I can judge like based on my open and click-through rate, like this is performing really poor. That's why I was like, I need to clean my list again, because I sent this to a lot of people that are no longer engaging with my content. So I don't know if you were already on my list when I got it, when I did it, but last week I sent out basically I put my old list into a cleaner email sequence. And the first email was, do me a solid, get the fuck off my list. Right? to just rub people the wrong way and say, hey, if you're not engaging and consuming my shit, why the fuck are you subscribed to me? I got 128 unsubscribed within 10 minutes of sending that email. I was like,
That's
okay.
funny.
And then at the end of the week, I cleaned off 1,000 people. And so I was like, cool. So now next time I push this email, I should get a higher amount of open and click-through rate. So, but you don't have that data without using Mailgun in the system.
Right.
So once you have your Mailgun set up, you'll be able to get that data. And once you're running paid traffic, you can put 100 people through there. You say, and you look at the stats of each email and you say, this email has 30% open rate, 10% click-through rate. The email below it has 10% open rate and 3% click-through rate. What happened between those two emails? So then you can change the subject line and pre-header to base it off something similar from the one that got the high open rate. Take a look at your call to actions. Like, it's literally a numbers game after that. Whereas with organic traffic, you have to really maintain being consistent with content and showing up online if you rely on organic traffic. Because in order to get the same volume that you get from paid traffic, you have to just work that much harder and spend that much more time organically to drive the traffic to your offer. But that's also why I teach the Big Marv's content map, which is where you can line up an entire year of content, and it'll literally trim down your content to maybe 2 hours a week. Because I teach you how to create a single piece of content and repurpose it 8 different ways. So you have a new piece of content every day of the year, and it engages your audience and keeps them coming back. So as long as you follow that, at least you're not spending hours and hours every week doing it. And it allows you to build up a database while you're collecting capital to run paid ads. Because if you make sales organically, that means you've proven your concept now. And once you prove your concept, now you can start running ads to scale your concept. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And then you'll see EFS training starting. That's where every single person that registers for your training, every week you're going to send out a blast letting them know, hey, this week's training is starting. And it literally sends them the webinar starting email and a replay 36 hours later. You'll notice in the funnel there's a replay step where you can upload your replay video. And then
Yeah, I've seen that.
The waiting
Because
list.
that's actually how I knew you were doing the training tonight, was
you
it came through. Yeah.
See? Look, guys, this is proof that this works. Tamara showed up because I sent her, hey, it's starting right now, jump in, right? Because she registered for the one last week. And then the waiting list, this is, let's say you download the dual funnel system and you haven't quite figured out your core offer yet. You kind of similar. So this is probably going to be where you're at, Tamara, because you have your beta group and you want to start promoting it now because the beta group is going to start in November, right? Or maybe, I don't know if you're going to push it out to January, like we discussed, but if whenever you push it out to, that's what the waiting list funnel is for. This is a simple 2-page just so you can have an opt-in and collect their information and let them know. So like the dual funnel system, the 6 weeks before I actually launched it to the public, I launched this funnel to let people join, get some information on what the dual funnel system is, and join the waiting list. And I just kept that list warm until it actually launched. And then when I launched it, I had, 20 downloads day of launch. And then from that 20 downloads, I had 10 sales calls booked. From the 10 sales call book, I made 4 sales. So, and that was just from having a waiting list.
And you would send your waiting list out how soon?
So I launched my waiting list funnel 6 weeks before I finished the dual funnel system.
Okay.
I just launched it organically. I didn't run paid traffic to it. I just would create posts on Facebook. It's called what I call them is a 2-step post. I'll pull some of these down. So you've probably seen these. You've been in the space, so you know what a two-step post is. But for those watching this that don't know, let me find one that I did. Oh yeah, look, this is the email. This is one of the replies I got back from when I told people to get the fuck off my list. And here's somebody else that was in my tribe. Look, you got me. That was phenomenal. But you probably won't even open this email. That's okay though. My system will kick you out. But yeah, you want to keep a clean list. Um, Man, I haven't done a two-step post in a while. Maybe I need to do one. All right, here it is. So I'm finally done with it and releasing it to the public. Who wants to be one of the first to test drive my new dual funnel system? This is the exact system I've implemented for all of my one-on-one students over the last 9 months. I have it dialed down to a science to automatically fill your calendar with warm qualified leads on autopilot. It's a perfect plug-and-play system for any coach, consultant, or course creator. The best part, you don't even have to have your own product. This works well for network, affiliate, and multi-level marketing as well. If you want it, comment what's next below and I'll send it over. And then people comment, and I have this nifty little tool called Social Prospector Pro. And you'll see I got 53 comments on this. So basically every single person that commented what's next, my nifty little tool dropped the automated comment, letting them know like, hey, here's the link for the dual funnel system, go grab it. So we do these two-step posts. So when I did the waiting list, I would just do posts like this, like, hey guys, soon I will be releasing XYZ. It does exactly this, brings you these results. If you'd like to hop on the waiting list so you can be one of the first to grab it when it drops, comment XYZ below. And then that's how you fill your waiting list up to get it warmed up. You have an existing list of 1,000, so you could even create an email promotion that you run to them. Like I would run an initial promotion, just letting them know the waiting list open. They can get on the waiting list now. And then every week, send them a newsletter, because you should be sending newsletters to your list anyways, just saying, this is what I've been up to. This is where I'm at with creating it, and having a permanent call to action in that newsletter to get on the waiting list. And you just continue to do that every week until you're ready to actually launch and open the program, let people start purchasing and getting into it. And then once you have that waiting list built up, that'll be the first list you hit when you're like, all right, I'm ready to start selling it. I only have 25 spots available. Who wants them? Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense.
Now launching your 12-week course doesn't sound so daunting, does it?
No.
So that is exactly what this waiting list campaign is for. It's just a single email that says, thanks for joining, letting them know exactly what they're going to get from the dual funnel session. I'm even telling them, you want to hop on a call with me and discuss it, basically pre-selling it, because I've been selling my Motivated Maniacs program for almost a year now. I don't even have a funnel for it. Right, so this goes to show you guys, as long as you just get people on your list, you show them the value, and then get them on the phone. Right, like that seems to be the scariest problem most entrepreneurs that I work with. And like, yes, we're building it for people to automatically book with you. Yes, you're gonna have to make some sales calls and talk to a lot of people and figure out how to sell your product. And they're so scared to get on the phone and talk to clients. Like we'll bring leads in, and they're like, I'm not making any sales. Have you been calling your leads? Like you gotta call them motherfuckers within 15 minutes of getting it. Within 5, if you can, like 5 is optimal. But after 15 minutes, like I think the statistics is like it drops 50-60%. Like the likelihood of them converting drops like in half instantly after 15 minutes. And so they're just scared to get on the phone. So you guys, I guess one of the biggest takeaways you should take from this is, once you implement this system, make sure you pay attention to your leads, how they're engaging and interacting with you. And you can do that right here in the conversations tab. Every single automation that you send out, you'll see the messages. According to here, I know it's hard to envision with none. And here, I'll go back to my live account. And you can see, look, here's Tamara right here. Okay, so these are all the emails that I sent Tamara. I can see, you can see here's one of my ones saying, hey, we have a call. And she replied, yes, I'll be there. So this is where you can contact everyone. If someone happens to message your Facebook page, you'll see like this little icon here. And with messaging on Facebook, you'll see like even in the campaigns, you can set up Facebook messaging. But the thing is, when you do that, you just have to remember this is a third-party platform. So it falls under third-party platform rules when you're messaging on Facebook, meaning in order to use the platform to send Facebook messages back and forth, the contact has to message your page first, and you have to message that contact back within 24 hours of receiving that message from them. So you can, as long as you download the app, you can log into the app, set notifications to come on, and that will be quite instant. As long as you're on top of it, it should be a non-issue for you. But if you don't download the app and you mainly use the desktop version to have your conversations, then it's going to be harder for you to catch those in the time frame. Unless you just have this open during the day when you work, you can turn on desktop notification. Like I have notifications turned on, so I get like a little ding in my on my computer, let me know somebody's texting me or replied back to an email. So I want to catch, for those that are watching the replay, I want to catch you guys up on Tamara. She is a coach. She helps real estate agents become killer real estate agents, and she just opened up a high ticket coaching practice. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor. You want to dive in a little bit and let the audience know a little bit of your background before we dive into your strategy?
Sure. I've been in real estate now 15 years, and through that I have learned how to negotiate, how to talk with people. And so my approach with this is to help new real estate agents and even seasoned veterans that have kind of lost sight of how to work their business. That's where I come in to help coach them from start to finish of working with their clients, working transactions. That's my whole goal.
Nice. So for those of you that don't know, there's actually a lot that goes into being a successful real estate agent. I know a lot of people see it and they're like, oh, that's easy. You can make a ton of money in real estate, but there's a reason that there's so many people getting into it and not making a ton of money. It's because you do actually have to work a little bit and handle your transactions and handle your clients and excuse me, everything a certain way. That's why there's whole automation companies set up specifically for real estate agents to help them do their job better. So what Tamara does is, over her 15 years of experience, she's built up certain processes and things that agents can follow to make themselves more successful. So she's working on a 12-week program that she's going to open to a small group of people to basically take them through, because this will be the first time she's worked as a high ticket coach, taking a group of people through this. Am I correct, Tamara?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to be recommending that she does is first build the waiting list funnel. Right. So the funnel builder is pretty simple to use. If you've ever used ClickFunnels, it's built based on the ClickFunnels builder. There's a couple different sections. So there's sections, those highlight in green. There's rows, those highlight in blue. There's columns, those highlight in purple. And then there's elements. So the section is like the frame of the house. The row is like the rooms that are in the house, right? Like that's the your sheetrock and your doors. The columns, that's how you organize your rooms. You know, I guess let me use a dresser analogy. It might be better than a house analogy. So let's take a dresser, like a dresser that you'd put your clothes in. The section would be like the empty dresser with no drawers in it at all. The rows would be each row that you have in your dresser. You know, some dressers you got one drawer on top. Some dressers you have two drawers right next to each other, right? The columns represent the drawers that are in your dresser. So you might have two columns, you know, two drawers next to each other. You might have three drawers next to each other. You might have six drawers next to each other. It could be a big ass dresser, you know. And then the elements are like the clothes that are in the drawers of the dresser. So the element is what displays all the things on the pages, like your images, your button, your text. And then so everything that you click on, when you click on it over here on the left, this will be your different section settings. So right now there's no background color because I want to show off this background here. So speaking of which, you can go to settings, go to background. You can change this background image, upload it to whatever you want. That's how you would modify that. So basically you would just come in here, get a header image made. If you don't have a designer on hand, you can go into Canva and design it yourself. You can go into Fiverr, or if you want to spend a little bit of capital, I can even link you up with one of my designers that do this in-house. But basically, you just want some kind of logo, something that represents whatever your program is. Coming soon. Then you want some kind of hook that's going to let them know the exact result they're going to get from your program. So for me, yeah, I have the dual funnel system, but what is the result of implementing the dual funnel system into your personal brand? The result is you're going to automatically fill your calendar with warm qualified leads. So since that's the result that they're getting from the dual funnel system, that's what you want to use as your hook to get them onto the waiting list. And then down here, now your hook might be enough to just get them to say, all right, I'm on it. Let's do this. They might give you your information. It might not be for other people. So down here, this is where you dive a little bit deeper into what exactly they're getting from your program. Just make it like as a personal letter that you wrote. So be like from the desk of Tamara, pretty much. So basically, I'm just never stop asking yourself what's next. For every action, there's a reaction. This is powerful when getting down to the nitty gritty technical side of things. So basically, now I'm just going to go into what the dual funnel system is and why it's going to help them generate hot leads, right? Want to kill a strat. So you're going to do the same thing from the desk of Tamara. What am I going to get out of your 12-week program? Invite them to join the waiting list. And then I have the other social stuff on here. Now, typically you wouldn't want this information on a landing page. Typically you would just want the direct call to action. So depending on how you're marketing this, depending on the volume of people that get it, you might want to just completely delete this row and not have, you know, a social media thing on the bottom, just have your standard legal links that you need. I put mine on there because I only marketed to my warm audience. I only marketed to people that were in Facebook groups, people on my Facebook page, people through my personal profile, and people on my email list. If you're driving cold traffic into like maybe Facebook groups that you don't own, for example, or maybe you're getting interviewed on a podcast and that cold traffic is going to be going to your waiting list. You wouldn't want this on here if you have that kind of volume of cold traffic because you want to only give them the one action to take. By adding this on here, I'm opening myself for people not taking this call to action and getting lost in my social media. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So, oh, and one thing I do want to show you, in case you are running paid traffic, I'm going to show you how to implement the pixel on these funnels so you can retarget that traffic. So if you go into the settings, you'll see head tracking code. Now, Facebook is going to give you a code. Even Google, if you're running Google or YouTube ads, they're going to give you a code that they say, install this on every page, right? So the install on every page, you're going to put your main Facebook pixel code in here, right? I'll show you an example based in my funnel so you can see it live. live example of a script.
So would you put all of the pixel codes from all platforms that you're using to retarget in that one section?
Yeah, right here in the head tracking code, because
Okay.
it'll make that code load on every page in the funnel. So that's
Okay.
what this does. So you can see I put my core Facebook pixel code here, right? And then on the actual funnel itself, that's where you're going to put the events that fire when people visit that page. And if you're curious about what events to use, you can go to Facebook. You just Google Facebook standard events, and you'll see this link here, specifications for Facebook events. And it'll break down all the different events that come through on Facebook and what they do when you send that information to Facebook, right? So, for example, if they have just booked a call with you, you're going to use schedule, the schedule event, because the booking of an appointment to visit one of your locations. Now, if they just filled out a pre-call survey, you're going to fill out a submit application. You know, if they just purchased something and they subscribe to you monthly, you can do the subscription. Or if it was just a standard purchase, you do purchase here. So they basically break down exactly what each event is and what it's for. So in the funnel itself, you're going to go to settings, tracking code, and you can see I put script and then the event. Now you'll see DFS view, that's called a custom conversion, because on Facebook you can set up custom conversions and create custom audiences out of these pixel events. So what I do is I always set up the standard event. What the standard event is going to do across all my funnels that have the standard event is going to pull all those people into that one event, right? But then I have my custom event. Let's say I don't want everybody that's viewed content in my pixel, because that means they could have looked at my content map funnel, they could have looked at my blueprint funnel, they could have looked at my wave makers funnel, they could have looked at the dual funnel system funnel. I just want the people that have seen the dual funnel system funnel. So that's the custom conversion, so for dual funnel system. And you can set up anything you want for a custom conversion. You just have to make sure it's inside these two little apostrophes. So you can type whatever you want in there. I think the character limit is like 36 characters. And then basically, so you'll see here, if I were to preview this page, you'll see the Facebook event fires, this Big Marv's pixel, and you can see page view, DFS view, and view content. So all these events went back to Facebook, and here's my two custom audiences that I can retarget based on that event. So when you're going through your funnel, right? So when you set up your waiting list funnel, for example, you're going to want the lead event on the thank you page, because when they land on the thank you page, they are now a lead, right? So the events you would want to set up on the landing page, you would have viewed content, because they have viewed your funnel, and you might want to retarget anybody that's landed on the landing page but has not become a lead, right? So when you do your waiting list, you would put the view content event on this page, and then you would put lead event on this page, right? Now, what this will do, this will give you a front end funnel that you can start running traffic to immediately, start getting people into your Facebook group while you work on building the funnel for the 12-week beta group, right? That way you don't have to stop producing content. You don't have to put your group on hold. You can just go ahead and launch it, start building the waiting list. And then when you build your actual funnel, I would follow the dual funnel system exactly. You want to come up with a lead magnet that's going to bring people up to your 12-week program. So the lead magnet that you create, as I was telling you on our call, is you want to think about where are people at when they're going through your 12-week program, and who is your 12-week program for? Is it for seasoned agents, right, that just need to get to the next level, or is it for brand new agents? Do you want to give them like a whole roadmap over 12 weeks? Because those two people are going to have two different journeys, right? So you got to decide which demo you want. And if you have the capital to test two, you can always clone this funnel and build two funnels, one for each demographic. But I would recommend picking a demographic that you want to work with the most. So if you haven't decided that yet, meditate on it and say, who would I rather work with, brand new agents or seasoned veterans, right? And then once you've made that decision, craft a lead magnet around like, okay, what lessons and things can I give them to give them actionable steps to take them on a 30-day journey where when we're halfway through that journey or when they get to the end of that journey, they're ready to take the next step with me. Right. So that's the kind of lead magnet you want to craft for them. And then you're going to invite them on a strategy session immediately. You can call it a discovery session. You can call it a strategy session. You can call it a call. I've had some people call it mindset meetings. I've had some people call it fit meetings. Like you can come up with whatever name you want, but basically it's just, hey, thank you so much. Here, I'll even play the video so you can see it. It's a short video. If you went through my funnel, you've probably already watched the video, but you see it's less than a minute. Back, and thank you so much for opting in to grab my dual funnel system. Now, every single personal brand is unique, and you're going to have unique messaging and different things you're going to want to tweak in the back end when you're implementing this system for your brand. So I know you're going to have tons of questions about the dual funnel system, exactly how you can use it for your brand. So I'd like to take this opportunity now to invite you to jump on a free strategy call with me. We'll dive into your brand for about 45 minutes to an hour, find out exactly what you're trying to do and dial in an automation strategy using the dual funnel system that's going to work perfect for you. So if you'd like to take me up on that offer, go ahead and click the button below and you can go over to my calendar and book your spot now. This is Big Marv. Thank you for tuning in. One love. So it's just going to be a short and sweet video. Like, because when you're creating these videos through the funnel, you want to basically create a digital clone of yourself, right? And so if you're, whether it's a Facebook ad or organic post, wherever they're coming from, you want to acknowledge that they came from somewhere and basically walk them through. So now on this step, we want to acknowledge like, hey, you just downloaded my thing. Thank you so much. Now, I know you're going to have questions about that thing because everybody has questions. And I want to give you the opportunity to hop on a call with me and talk to me personally so I can sort out those questions for you, right? And then we're going to give them the option. Do you want to get on Tamara's calendar or don't you want to get on Tamara's calendar, right? So if they take you up on it, you're just going to rebuild this page with your calendar, your call to action, and let people in that way. And then I'll get into the technical bit of the calendar here in a second. But when you go into the calendar, you'll notice that you have a couple options on the left that say which calendar, because you can create multiple calendars on this platform. So like I personally have like a calendar for my podcast, I have a calendar for paid sessions, a calendar for sales calls, a calendar for my free coaching sessions for my students. So once you get in there, you might have a couple different calendars yourself. So basically this is where you would select which calendar you want to use. And then the redirect action, you want to make that go to the next step, because basically it's the next step of the funnel. So when they're done booking this, they're going to automatically go to the next step. If you choose use action from the calendar builder, there's a spot in there where you can set, go to a specific URL or submit or just display like some sort of thank you message. I always use a thank you page so I can fire pixel events. So make sure it's always go to next step, because what that'll literally do is after they book that appointment, they'll go to the next step of the funnel, which is the pre-call survey. Now, when you're building your pre-call survey, you want to think about the questions that you can ask them, that whenever you're done reading those questions, you know exactly where they are in your value stack, right? So we're going to use my own survey as an example, and I want to explain why I picked these questions. So how long have you had a personal brand? This lets me know, are you a startup? Or have you been in the game for a while? Like for you, how long have you been an agent? This lets you know, is it a brand new agent or a seasoned veteran? right? Are you currently making sales with your personal brand? Right? This lets me know, do you have a proven concept, or do you just have this idea for some kind of new program that you've come up with that you think will sell, but you haven't made any sales yet, but you have an idea. So this is going to let me know proven concept or not proven concept. Because if it's not a proven concept, you have to change the marketing message a little bit differently. And depending on capital and traffic strategy, that time frame of making sales is going to vastly differ, right? Because if it's all organic, it takes quite a bit more work to prove a concept organically. Where if it's paid traffic, I know the formula behind how do we start getting sales for paid traffic, you know? And so when you're asking questions, you might want to say, how are you making commissions yet? Have you sold your first house, or how many houses have you sold this year? You know, something along those lines to let you identify where are they at in their sales game. Like, are they making multiple commissions right now? You know, are you currently marketing your brand? This lets me know, like, do you have the capital, or do you currently run paid traffic? If you currently do organically only, that's going to let me know that you don't have paid traffic. Now I know that when you start running paid traffic, it takes $1,000 to $2,000 to warm up a pixel. So if you haven't run any paid traffic, I know I have to give you that disclaimer of, hey, if we turn this on and start building it, you might spend $1,000 before you see a return because we have to warm that pixel up. So this is why I asked that question. So because basically you're trying to ask questions, so whenever you get them on the sales call, you can already take the sales call exactly where you need to take it, because you already know what their pain points are and how you're going to be able to solve those problems for them. And then what's the biggest problem you face with your personal brand right now? I asked this question because a lot of people think their problem is a lot of different things, but it's typically always the same problem. They don't have automation strategy and follow-up in place. But a lot of people will say, I think it's my webinar. I think it's my funnel. I think it's my lead magnet sucks. You know, I think it's this, or I think it's that. And 9 times out of 10, it's no, you just have a poor follow-up strategy and you're running no automation. You're relying on your couple organic posts. Then you post your funnel. You get 3 people that say, this looks bad, change this. And then you make 50,000 changes and it's still not converting. And it's because you've only put in 4 fucking people through your funnel and you're basing the opinion off of 4 fucking people, you know, versus, hey, if we run paid traffic to it, we can get 100 people on that landing page. Then that's going to tell me if that landing page is good or bad. I'm not going to base it on the opinion of 3 motherfuckers on Facebook. But unfortunately, that's what a lot of personal brands that I work with do. We start talking and they're like, I think it's this. I'm like, I look at their funnel, I'm like, dude, your funnel's actually not that bad. I can make a tweak here and here and probably get you conversions right now. Why do you think it's a bad funnel? Well, I posted it on my Facebook wall. My uncle and my sister both told me it looked bad. Well, is your uncle and your sister your target demographic? Is your uncle and sister a marketer that have run funnels before and know what a good marketing funnel is? No to either question. Then why the fuck are you listening to your uncle and your sister? Like, what do they know, right? But unfortunately, that's humans and that's what they do. So then what have you tried to fix the problem? This is where you're going to dive a little deeper of like, okay, they told you what they think the problem is. Now, what have they tried to do to fix that problem? Now, some people, they've hired other coaches, they've hired other experts, they downloaded courses, they watch YouTube videos. You know, I get all kinds of crazy answers in here, but this lets me know what they've tried. So basically, whenever we get on the phone, I can say, oh yeah, I bet you did this and this and this because I've heard it a million times. Right. And so when you start identifying with them in that backstory and relating your own journey to their journey, they're like, oh, this guy's been exactly where I've been. And now he's at a place where I want to get to. So maybe I should listen to him because he's already walked this journey before. Right. So when you're talking to your real estate crowd, you're going to be asking questions like, have you sold your first house yet? And if you have sold it, how long did it take you to sell it? What do you think is keeping you from hitting your commission goal right now? You know, that way you can start diving deeper so you can start getting an eye into, because they might tell you, oh, I'm just not getting leads. That's my problem. Or the leads I'm getting suck. That's my problem. right? And if maybe part of your strategy is showing them how to get nice hot leads, you can just dive into that in your sales call because that's what they feel their biggest struggle and problem is. And then what's your current monthly revenue and what's your goal monthly revenue? This lets me know where they're at currently and where they want to go because I've scaled so many brands before. I know what it takes to scale a company from 10 grand a month to 40 grand a month. So I know how much marketing goes into that, how much capital goes in that, what the time frame is going to be like based on that capital, based on the offer, based on what their team can deliver. So this is going to let me craft a strategy specifically around their goals and let them know this is how we're going to scale your company to get you from 10K a month to 50K a month. Now, do you currently have a coach or mentor that's helping you build your brand? I asked this question because if they've already hired somebody that's very similar to me, I don't want there to be too many cooks in the kitchen, right? I don't want them to listen to this coach and then I tell them some conflicting information, have them spinning their wheels, lose focus, etc. So this lets me know, like, is there even room for me on the team? If so, have you found having a coach or mentor helpful? This lets me know if they believe my type of service is going to help them or not. So you can ask this very similar question to your real estate agents. Have they ever hired a real estate coach before? Have they ever joined Mike Ferry's team? You know, then ask them if it's been helpful being coached, because if they do find it helpful, then you already know they have belief in your service. Now, people that have never bought high ticket coaching before might be on the fence because they've never hired a coach, so they don't know if having a coach works or not. Which, side note, I personally have multiple coaches. It's been a game changer for me, and that's why I will always have a coach. I think that we all have superpowers in different areas of life. I'm not a master of everything, so I hire coaches in specific areas that I'm struggling, to help overcome the barriers that I'm having in those areas, because that's their superpower, and I'm going to trust their expertise to guide me through it, because they're going to help me hit the goals that I want to hit much faster than trying to hit those goals on my own. Um, And then, have you ever purchased an online course that teaches about building and automating your personal brand? This lets me know if you've already watched somebody's YouTube videos or series or something saying, this is what you should do to automate lead acquisition. That way, because if you already have some strategies or something that you follow, I might have to build off strategies that you already run or you know, counter whatever strategies you're doing and let you know why those strategies don't work because I've already tried them. And then what's the number one thing you're looking forward to? I'm asking this question because I want to know what's the exact thing they're expecting, because I want to not only meet their expectations, but I want to exceed their expectations. So I asked them this call just so I can have that answer. And then, are you ready to make an investment in yourself? This is basically asking them, do they have capital and are they ready to spend that capital to get help to meet their goals? Then how did you find me? This is just my personal, because I run 3 different traffic sources. I want to find out how they found me so I can know which traffic sources converting the most. So you can see, like, it looks like a very simple survey, but you actually do want to put a little bit of thought into your survey and the questions that you're asking. So when those leads come into your pipeline, you know exactly where those leads are at and how you're going to be able to help them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
And then the strategy session thinks. This is where you're going to fire the submit application event. But essentially, again, we're creating videos to set very specific expectations of, like, this is what we're going to do, right? So I shoot a very quick video, again, a minute long. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Thank you so much for booking a call with me. I'm so excited to jump on the phone with you. Sound like I'm excited. I need to reshoot your personal brand and how we can use the dual funnel system to automate lead acquisition for yourself, so you can get those leads coming in on autopilot, because we know that your revenue is directly correlated with the amount of offers that you make. So if we can automate leads coming in on autopilot for you, so you don't have to worry about those new leads coming in, you can concentrate on serving your brand, and that's our goal by implementing the dual funnel system. So check your email, keep an eye on your phone. You'll get reminders from me for the call. Just make sure you show up prepared with some notes. Write down any questions you may have that we can spend the time going through the questions and getting everything that you need answered. That way you can hit the ground running with the dual funnel system. This is Big Marv. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you. So you would do the same thing. Basically, you acknowledge, hey, you booked a call with me. I'm so excited that we're gonna be jumping on a call. Now, this is what to expect for the call. Bring in your notes, bring in your questions. I want to make sure we get through everything. Again, you're trying to position yourself as like, I'm the authority figure that is here to serve you and to make your life easier. So that's what that's for. And then we have another call to action here for them to join the group. Because again, you want to run some kind of free value-based group to where they can join and consume your content and learn that you're the authority figure for them. All right, and then the DFS training invite. This is where you're going to dive in, because remember, at this point in the funnel, if they hit the DFS training invite page, that means they opted in, so they already know a little bit about you and what you do, but they have declined to jump on the phone with you, right? So this is your pitch to, like, hey, you didn't want to jump on the phone with me. Why don't you come join the weekly training where entrepreneurs, or in your case, where real estate agents just like you, come in every week and get their questions answered on exactly how this beta group is going to help you, right? So that's the goal for this page. Is you want to have a hook that's going to tell them exactly what they're going to get from your 12-week program. So I want you to think of this as, I'm going to use a fishing analogy here. You got your bait and you got your hook, right? So this is like your juicy succulent bait that is on the end of your hook that catches their attention and makes them want to read more, right? And then this is the hook that's going to close the door and reel them out of the water and bring them into the boat. So you want your bait to lead them into biting onto the hook. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. And then again, like I call them out, right? You want to acknowledge exactly where they're at in the funnel, exactly what experience they're having. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. It's Big Marv here. So you decided to not jump on the phone with me. That's cool, though. That's cool. Right. So you digital clone exactly where they're at, just pitching the message to them. What I would like to do is invite you to my weekly training. This is where I do a live Q&A session. We go into the dual funnel system, and I answer any questions that you or anyone else that comes to the training may have. We go through the system, and maybe your question, will the system work for me? I've heard this a bunch of times before. I have yet to encounter a niche that it hasn't worked with. We've dived in with real estate agents, real estate investors, MLMs, affiliate guys, high-ticket coaches, consultants, agencies, course creators, you name it, health and fitness, gym owners. I've built it and we've automated it, and it's all boiled down to the dual funnel strategy, and it works like clockwork. So what I'd like to do is, again, invite you to that training. It's every single week. We dive in. It's 30 minutes to an hour for the training. Anyways, you guys get it right. So we're gonna basically invite them to the training. We're gonna dive in a little bit more of like, hey, my icons aren't working. I need to go fix that. We're gonna dive in a little bit more about what the dual funnel system is, what they're gonna get out of it, and hopefully they're gonna say, yes, I want the training, and register for the training. So then they just go to a training registration. When you're building this, so like when you're doing this, I want to break down these sections and why we have them, right? So you got your hook and bait up here, and then these are like the two biggest steps you're gonna get out of the training session, right? These are the two big, like, this is what you're gonna take away from implementing this system into your brand, right? So for you, it's like these are the two biggest things you're gonna get from going through your 12-week course. And then you want to give them the 3 steps, like a 3-step breakdown of, the path they're going to be taking with you. And then down here, you're highlighting more benefits. And you'll notice we have call to actions in each one. And the reason for that is like we have our hook and bait up here with the video. Might be enough for them to say, yes, I want the training. Might not be enough, right? Then we go into, okay, here's the two biggest things you're going to get out of it. And here's the simple 3-step process you're going to follow to get these two things, right? Yes, I want the training. That might still not be enough. So then we're saying, all right, here's my last final ditch offer, ready to discover what I can do for you. And then I give them just straight bullet points of boom, 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 boom. This is what you're going to get. Join the training. It might still not be enough. They might say, fuck you, Marv, and close the funnel. But if they do, hey, they're not aligned with me. But right now, I think 40% of people that are opting in are registering for the training. So
now, when you're looking over your analytics there, can you tell where they came in at the funnel?
yes, because I'm running paid traffic, so I set up UTM and attribution tracking. So as long as you set up your pixel or your Google Analytics, then yes, you can track the traffic and put attribution on there. If not, you'll just you can see like they were added to this campaign from this specific trigger, and triggers only happen from a specific event. So I know when they registered, did they come from an ad or did they come from my email sequence? But most people that are in the email sequence came from the ad. But this will tell me, it'll tell me basically, did they convert from going through the funnel the first time, or did they register through the training because they got an email that said, you still have questions, register for the training? Because you'll notice in the email follow-up for the dual funnel system, there's several invites for, hey, join the weekly training. You're probably going to have some questions.
Gotcha.
And then we have a waiting room. This is for after they've registered for the training. This is where I'm going to, again, you want to set expectations, walk them through the exact journey, give them specific instructions. So it's just great news. I just shot another quick video of like, this is what to expect. Hey, what's up? It's Big Marv here. Welcome back. And I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for signing up for my weekly training. It is every Thursday at 6 p.m. PST. That is 9 p.m. EST for you East Coast guys. I'm over here in Oregon. So every single Thursday, I'm going to go live. It'll be just a short and sweet video telling them what you're going to be doing every week. Then you want to give them specific instructions. So here they can add it to one of their calendars. Here I say just be prepared and to show up early and block out an hour. Join my official group. This is where you can ask any questions and then download the system. This is what will bring you to the Google Drive link here to download the actual deliverables that come with the dual funnel system. So for you in your 12-week course, you might not have a download. If you don't, you can just delete this out of here. But you should at least have a group. You should at least be telling them to pay attention, and you can add it to your calendar. Now, to get this button to work, you guys can check the Wavemakers group. I even believe I put the training in here. If not, I'll add it in here. But basically, I use a service called Eventable, and they give you this button. Because to actually make this work, like you could make this work technically with some JavaScript and CSS, but it would take you a lot of time to code that. And if me as a coder am telling you like it sucks dick, if you're not a coder, you probably don't want to even attempt it. Just use the Eventable service. It's free, and they'll give you an add to button functionality that you can use so people can actually have this functionality. Then over here on the right side is just breaking down the schedule, gives them the join the training link, because some people might opt in like day of the funnel. Hell, they might opt in like during the live training. So right now, if somebody were to go here to this page and click this link, they would get brought here to this room. And then again, you just use the funnel builder to modify this to your branding, your colors, your verbiage. And then the next step is the replay. So like I was saying earlier, every week like if you look into the automation, I have it built in to send a replay of your weekly training 36 hours later. So you just take this weekly training, like tonight I'll be taking this Zoom call, uploading it to my YouTube and replacing this video with the video that's here on the page with this video from tonight's training. So for you, every week when you do yours, so what I do for the initial is I recommend just shooting a quick 20-30 minute training of you just basically going through your pitch deck by yourself. How your pitch deck might be a 90-minute PowerPoint. I don't know how you're going to pitch your webinar, but however you do it, basically you just want to do that solo, turn your camera on, go through it, put that on there so you have a replay video for anybody that happens to go through your funnel prior to your training. So it's in there, and then just every week when you do the live one, cycle it out. Now, this next whole part from introduction all the way down to outro is because the dual funnel system is the lead magnet is a video series. Well, a video series is part of it anyways. So I created these because we've tested a lot of lead magnets, and video series being the front end lead magnet has hands down converted way better than ebooks. And we've also tested not only video series, but we've tested putting videos on funnel pages like this versus loading them into a free membership site where they can just log in for free to get access. And we've discovered that people engage more, actually watch the videos when you remove the barriers of having to log into a membership site. And that is because cold traffic doesn't know, like, and trust you yet. So you can't just out the gate say, hey, I want you to remember this extra login. I want you to remember to get to this membership site to go access these videos. They're not going to want to do all that shit unless they already know, like, and trust you. So if it's a free lead magnet, they're just now getting indoctrinated into you and who you are and what you do. I recommend just embedding the videos. You can use Vimeo, Wistia, YouTube, whatever you want. I personally use YouTube because I want people to watch the YouTube, go here and go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've noticed I've gotten more subscribers to my YouTube channel since I've swapped my funnel videos to all my YouTube channel. Now you do get like this more video shit and things like that. You get these watch later links, which could be a downside. So, I mean, there's pros and cons with using Vimeo over YouTube, but that's the reason I personally use YouTube, is because I have an active YouTube channel and I just want to drive as many subscribers there as I can. So that's kind of like another way to drive subscribers. But basically, you want to give them the title of the video, a short sentence or two of what they're about to learn in that video, the video itself, and then I've built in next, previous, etc., so they can go through the series. And then you want a call to action on every page, because they might make it through a step in the training and say, okay, that's Big Marv, that's what I need your help with, so they might be ready to book at that time. I don't know when people are going to be ready to book with me when they're going through this training, so I just give them the option on every page. So if you do a video training series, I recommend you do the same thing. Embed the video on the page, have a call to action to go to your calendar, and that booking is going to go over to the core booking funnel that I showed you earlier.
Okay, question. It does, but I have a question. Because see, I give my lead magnet is a 3-day free course, and it's just walking through steps. Is that where I would put this?
Yeah, or is it 3 videos?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd put day 1, day 2, day 3, and then you can delete the rest of these steps because you don't need them.
Okay, gotcha.
And then if it is a 3-day video series, you're going to have to get creative when you're writing your email follow-up. Now, I don't know how quickly you guide them through, but like you said, it's 3 days. Is it actually like, if I were to download it and I'm a brand new agent, is it for brand new agents or veterans?
It's pretty much directed towards new agents.
Okay, so if I'm a brand new agent, if I consume day 1 training, am I actually going to be able to take action and implement everything you taught me in day one in one day in less than 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went through and made it, I simplified it because I didn't want to give away too much, but I wanted there to be enough value that they would come back. And so they should be able to put each step from each day into action into their business immediately.
Okay, so what you can do then is when you write the sequence, the first 3 days of the sequence, you take them through the training. As long as they can consume, take action, and implement in 2 to 3 hours, it's fine to just do that in one day. But then the follow-up, you're going to want to follow up with them, right? So if an agent consumes this, they go through all 3 days, you should know they were at X and should now be at Y, right? So when you go through that 30-day journey with them, you're going to maybe refer back to day one. Hey, how did you find implementing this? Were you successful? Here's some of the biggest problems that new agents have when they're trying to implement this. Let me walk you through how to solve it if that's the problem that you ran into, right? So that's how you keep them interacted and engaged in that sequence and extend out a 3-day video series to a 30-day follow-up. Because you're
Gotcha.
basically trying to think of like, if I'm a brand new agent and I implement this, what does the next month of my life look like? Right. So, because if it's 3 days, you're probably helping them implement habits, right? Like,
Exactly.
here's processes, and these are things you want to do every day, right? So, when you're writing that email sequence, basically treat them like that. Just follow up with them like, hey, you should be doing bam, bam, bam. Where are you at on that? What problems did you run into? Here's some problems that some people have run into, and here's how they solve them. If you would like to hop on a call with me, if you're running into any of these issues, I'd love to hop on and see how I can help you solve those problems, right? Or maybe your call to action is, hey, if you're running into any of these issues, feel free to join my free Facebook group where I go live and I answer your questions about this every day of the week or once a week or whatever it may be. But that would be like your call to action in each email, because you do want to make sure every single email and the follow-up has some sort of call to action. So that call to action is likely going to be either booking a call with you or joining your free Facebook group.
Okay.
If you have some sort of low ticket offer that you could put in the middle, that might be your call to actions. Sometimes, like for another example, you'll see the 21-day game changer funnel as part of one of the examples in here. What those guys do is they have a free Facebook group and they have a free 21-day challenge that they put people through, but they have a low ticket $9.99 workbook that people can buy. It's like a companion course, a companion workbook that'll take them through the 21-day challenge and help them get that much more out of it. So one of their call to actions through the email series is, hey, this is one of the things that we really dive into the workbook. If you want to supercharge the challenge, click below and grab yours today for $9.99. So if you come up with some kind of low ticket offer that you throw in, that's where you would put that call to action. You just want to make sure it aligns with whatever your lead magnet is.
Okay. Yeah, because I have one of those as well. So that's good to know.
And then these other steps down here, you'll see DFS opt-in V2, webinar opt-in, and evergreen webinar room. You don't have to use any of these right now. What these 3 pages are for is after you've run your live webinar for a while and you've gotten the statistics of which one is the winning one. And then you would build these 3 pages to basically run your evergreen webinar. And then up here, the switch on the back end is, how up here we have the no thank you button going down here to this training replay or this training invite, rather than driving them to this training invite on the no here, you would just drive them down here to this one, because now you've switched to the evergreen webinar. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. And then these last few pages, these are just the legal pages. You might have these hosted somewhere else. You might not. If you don't, I've included templates in here for you to have them. Because if you do run paid traffic, just in general, if you run a business online and you're collecting data and storing it in a marketing list, you should have these things. But they're basically just legal documents, privacy policy, terms and conditions, and disclaimer. Now, I do have to give you guys the disclaimer that I am not your legal representation. I am not a lawyer. I am not held liable for you utilizing these. I do recommend getting your own policies elsewhere, but I have also been there where I didn't have policies and couldn't afford a lawyer. So I used templates in the beginning. So that's why I've provided these templates for you. These are templates that I purchased um, from Law Depot and put them in here for you guys. So you'll see they're very basic pages that just say like your logo here. And then you'll see things like company name, right? So you just want to go through and update it to your information. And then there's the unsubscribe. So like I mentioned earlier, you have to have unsubscribe as an option in all your follow-up. So we have you've been unsubscribed. So before I dive into triggers and how to make this actually function, do you have any questions on the funnel?
No, I'm pretty good there.
All right. So how we make all of this function is called triggers. So the reason I named the platform What's Next is because as long as you're always thinking, what's the next thing that happens, you should be able to figure out like what triggers, what pages, what different things that you need to make a funnel function, right? So when you're looking at your funnel here and you're trying to think, what are all the triggers that I need for this thing, right? Well, just think to yourself, and you can even grab a notepad and you're like, all right, on the opt-in, what are they doing? They're opting in to get a lead magnet. So what are all the things that need to happen when they opt in? Well, the first thing that needs to happen is I need to add them to, the follow-up campaign. Because I'm going to send them emails. I need to send them the damn thing, right? What's the next thing that needs to happen? Oh, the next thing that needs to happen, I need to tag them so I know these people downloaded this specific thing. What's the next thing that I want to do? Oh, I want to update the pipeline so I know exactly where these guys are at in my pipeline. You want to update the pipeline. Okay, what's next? And this one's optional, but I personally like to receive a notification every time I get a lead or a book call. So you might want to say, send a notification. Okay, so you just want to ask yourself, what are all the things that are going to happen? So that's the opt-in page, right? And then now you move on. Okay, so the strategy session invite, what needs to happen there? Well, they don't actually submit a form or do anything there. They're just going to click, do they want to book a call or do they not want to book a call? So there's no triggers needed for that page. But the book a call page, what happens there? Oh, they actually book a call on my calendar, right? So for the book a call page, the triggers that we would need is, well, if they book a call on the calendar, what do we need to do? Well, we need to add them to the call reminder campaign, right? Well, what's next? What's the next thing that we need to do? We need to tag them. Tag them as these people have booked a call with me. We need to update the pipeline so we know exactly where these guys are at in the pipeline. And we need to send a notification because again, this one is optional. Some people don't care for notifications. Some people like to receive them. I like to receive them. And then you just continue down and you're like, pre-call survey, what happens there? What's next? Strategy session. If they land there, there's nothing that actually fucking happens, right? They're just getting a video, so I don't need any triggers there. Invite, again, they're just clicking a button to say register. So nothing's happening on the invite page. On the registration page, though, there is a form registering them for the training. So that one, we would need to add to campaign, tag them, etc., etc. So I've already pre-built all the triggers that you need for the dual funnel system, and I try to name them to where it's very obvious what it is when you look at the name. So like here's unsubscribe email, for example. So you can see trigger link click, trigger link is unsubscribe. What do we want to do? We want to set that context D&D, which is do not disturb, and we want to enable it. This will prevent them from getting any more emails or text messages from your system. And then unsubscribe for SMS. It's the same thing. Customer has replied. It contains the phrase unsubscribe. They did it through text message. We're going to do the same thing, enable D&D. All right, now let's talk about some of these other things here. The opt-in, right? So you look at the DFS opt-in, you'll see it's form submitted. The form is DFS opt-in 1. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a tag, DFS opt-in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add them to the campaign, DFS follow-up. Next thing we're going to do, add to opportunities. So the opportunities of pipelines, I'll jump into pipelines here right after triggers to show you guys how those work. But this is basically you're establishing every step of your sales process, right? Every step of the funnel. So what are they doing in the funnel? They're opting in, then they're either booking a call or not booking a call. They're completing the survey or not completing the survey. They're registering for the training or not registering for the training. They're watching video 1 in the training series, video 2 in the training series, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your pipeline is literally every step, so you can monitor and track where they're at every step of the process. So that's what this is. You'll see I have the dual funnel system pipeline already set up with all the stages that come with the dual funnel system pipeline. And then here it says contact name. So this is the variable for the system that pulls the contact's full name. So it'll show like John Smith wants dual funnel system, right? And then for me, my source is Facebook because I'm running lead ads. And then these leads are worth $250 to me because my high ticket offer is 5K. So I'm willing to pay up to $250 for this lead if I can close them on a 5K package, right? And then here's the notification part where we're sending from my support address to my personal address. Again, we're using the variables from the system. John Smith has opted in. This email is to notify you that someone's opted in. And there's the custom values here. So you can literally, whenever you build out your forms, you're going to have all these custom fields, right? So, are you currently making sales with your personal brand, et cetera, et cetera. You can send all of that information over notifications dynamically, right? And so you would just modify this for you. Now, now let me show you the pre-call survey, right? It's the same thing, form submitted, the form is, the pre-call survey, and then what are the actions that we want to happen when that event goes off, right? When that event pops off, what are all the things that we want to happen there? We want to tag them, we want to update our opportunity, I want to send a notifications, and then this is where you can see here's all the questions with the answers dynamically loading into the email. So I get that email, I get on a sales call with someone, and I can have that up on one of my monitors so I can refer back to it while I'm on the sales call. I can say like, you say here that your biggest struggle is X. Now this is what I've built as a solution to solve that problem, right? And then, so when you're going through the dual funnel system, there might be a lot of these triggers that you can delete, Tamara, because like I said, you only have the 3 videos. So you can see like watched final review is just like they clicked on the trigger link, DFS final review. Then I'm tagging them, updating the opportunity. And then all of these triggers are based on those specific actions that they're taking in the funnel. Now let me show you guys pipelines. So pipelines, like I said, is your entire sales process. You can just go to settings here, go to pipelines. You can see here's the dual funnel system. I built mine for you. It's just so you can have this reference, but you can hit create a new pipeline to create your own pipeline that matches your sales process. So here in the dual funnel system, like you can see here, I'm taking them from the top of the funnel, like did they join the waiting list, all the way down to did they purchase my dual funnel system, right? And all the different things they do in between. Okay, so I just launched the dual funnel system last Sunday. I want to show you guys how it is doing live for me so far. And so you can see what a live pipeline looks like. So if I go here to my dual funnel system, you can see, so here's the leads that have opted in so far, but they haven't downloaded yet. Now these are leads that opted in and downloaded, right? And then from the people that have downloaded, and they don't stay here, right? So these 3 leads, here's Milton. Milton, I see you're on the call tonight. So Milton has watched the funnel video. That was the last place he stopped in the training. And then you can see I take him through the whole process. So then you can see here's all the people that have registered. There you are, Tamara, right there. All right, and then these are the people that have watched the replay from last week. These are people that booked into my calendar, or they looked at my calendar but haven't actually booked anything. This would be people that have booked, and then these are people that completed the pre-call survey after booking, and then this is people that have sold. So I haven't sold any new of the dual funnel system since I launched last Sunday, but my pipeline is staying full on autopilot every day. That is the biggest point, is now I'm running all the automation to get people to jump on my calendar and get the dual funnel system. So when you're building out your pipeline, you're going to want to do the same thing. You want to sit down. You have your core offer of your 12-week program, or maybe you even have an offer that's bigger than that. But I would recommend you focus in on that one core offer right now, and build your pipeline according to, your 12-week program is down here. Now, what are all the steps that they need to take to get to purchasing your beta program? Right now, you guys will see a couple toggles here, visible in funnel chart and visible in pie chart. Now, what that is that's the dynamic information that loads on the dashboard here. So this has, you have nothing in there yet. So let me show you my live dashboard. So you can see these are all the leads that are coming in. You can see this is where people are in the pipeline. And then this is the stage distribution. So you can see where people are hanging out the longest. This is your pipeline value. Now this value is established based on when you're going through your triggers and you're setting up that value there. You saw that I set my lead value at $250. So right now, the 131 leads that have come in are worth $13K. And that's based on people that are still open that I haven't closed yet. And then here in the dashboard is some of the other dynamic things that load. Like if you integrate your Google My Business, it'll pull in your Google reviews, your Facebook reviews, things like that. The next thing I want to show you guys, well, before I show you the next thing, are there any questions on pipelines and how to make those function with the triggers?
No, I'm pretty good.
All right, so now let's talk about forms and surveys. So you'll notice in the triggers, there was like form submitted X. All the forms and surveys in the platform are independent of the funnel, meaning you can take this form and you can embed it into other places. So if you have like a WordPress site, for example, with a pop-up, you could build your form out with all your fields, your custom fields, whatever, however you want the form to be. You click integrate form and it'll spit out an iframe that you can embed on any website. It'll give you a link where you can drive people directly to a link to fill out that form, or you can just save and exit and use the form element in the funnel builder or the website builder and integrate the form there. So all the forms and surveys, you'll see that your account came preloaded with my examples. So here's the registration, here's my pre-call survey, here's the waiting list opt-in, and then we have V1 and V2 of the opt-in. So this is where you would modify the forms for the funnel, and then whenever you're building the triggers, that's where you would define what, which form you used on that trigger to fire those actions. And then surveys are very similar to forms, but they allow you to do like slides, right? So you can literally have like name, email, phone, add a new slide, and this is where it's going to give them arrows where they can answer. You guys have probably seen SurveyMonkey. This would essentially replace like the SurveyMonkey service. And it works the same way as forms, where you can build them all out and you can integrate survey and embed it on the website. One of the nice things about the survey over the form, though, is something called conditional logic, meaning you can define saying, if they answer it this certain way, I want them to be directed here, right? So like, what do you hope to accomplish, for example? We could tell it, hey, I want it to go this way or this way based on your answer. Hold on, let me find, I need one with like a radio button. I think, are you currently marketing your brand has, no. Oh, here we go. If so, what kind of marketing have you tried? So here you go. Here's the conditional logic down here. So basically, if they answer organic only, I can disqualify them immediately and send them to a different location. Or I can disqualify after they submit. So if they submit the page, I can say, you're disqualified. I want you to go to this thank you page, right? Or I can take them to a different slide, right? Because you could set up like slide 3, and then if they answer this a certain way, you're like, well, they don't need to answer any questions on slide 3 if they answer it this way, so I want to skip them directly to slide 4. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, there's a couple different things that you can do with surveys. It's a little bit more advanced than forms, but once you get to that point where you're testing like that deep with surveys, you just post in the group, and if you get stuck, and I'll help you figure it out. But basically, if you go here to the options, that's where you define, like, if I disqualify them immediately, what do I want to happen? I can send them directly to a page. Like I said, you can prep 2 different thank you pages based on response. So if I disqualify immediately, where do I want them to go? Or I can just show a message that says, thanks for taking the time to fill this out, but you suck and you're disqualified. Might want to be a little bit nicer, but that's where you can just pop up a message. Basically, it'll kill the survey. Disqualify after submit. We'll let them continue to go through and answer the questions, and then just show them this. And then on submit, this is like, if they're not disqualified, what's the normal action you want to happen? And then Facebook Pixel ID, of course, you can just put your Pixel ID in there, and it'll fire the standard Facebook events. I personally don't use the Pixel ID in here because I defined, like I said, the custom conversions on all my funnel pages. If you're brand new, you're just now starting out, you don't have to jump into custom conversions and UTM tagging and attribution and all that extra shit, because you should really more be focused on just getting volume in the first place, then analyzing those numbers. The reason I do all that extra shit is because I've built so much data. Now I've gotten to the point that I need UTM tracking so I can tell exactly what traffic source, because now it's come down to, well, Google AdWords are giving me my traffic for this much. Facebook is giving me my leads for this much. Now I need to define which one's giving me the highest ROI so I can dedicate more advertising budget to one or the other. If you're brand new and you're just starting out, you're probably not there yet. So I'm going to say, don't worry about all the extra shit. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Now, can you go back and test this before you actually make it live?
Yep. So you'll notice here in this account, I don't have any actually domains because this is a demo account, right? So if you don't have a domain mapped yet, you can just click this little button right here and it'll generate a domain for you. And you can just go through the funnel, with the generated domain. And as long as you have these defined right, like go to next step, et cetera, it'll go through.
Okay. So it's just like the ClickFunnels.
Yeah, exactly like ClickFunnels.
Okay.
And once you add a domain, like here, let me go to one of my other funnels. Once you add a domain, you will see the domain is here now. And now you have this new arrow. So if you hit this arrow here, this gives you the live domain with the path of what it should be. Now, if you're running organic only, you're not really going to have an issue. I would just say just map the domain and test it. Who cares that it's a live domain on there? If you're doing organic only, nobody should see the fucking thing anyway until you post it, right? So I would say don't worry so much about like, oh, it's not ready for traffic yet. I don't want to map the domain to it because quite honestly, when you map that domain to it, nobody's going to find it unless you give it to them,
Okay.
or unless when you just got one of those killer domains that people are just going to organically type like starwars.com, depending on your domain, it might be like one of those niche domains that nobody's going to ever see it unless you post it.
Yeah, they're never going to find mine unless I post it.
I mean, and there is the SEO metadata that you can define to try to get more SEO traffic, but I always say, funnels are built with the purpose of running traffic. Like you're very specifically making posts, videos, you're sending emails, or you're running ads to a funnel. If you're not running traffic in some sort of way to a funnel, like what the fuck are you building a funnel for?
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents and opinion after running thousands of funnels, but everybody has their own 2 cents, right? But what was next? So that was forms and surveys. Do you guys have any questions on like forms and surveys before I move into the next bit? I'm going to take that as a no. All right, so I was just curious if you had any questions on forms and surveys before I move into traffic. So once you get your waiting list built, Tamara, you're going to start running traffic. Do you plan on running paid traffic to this offer or organic only?
Actually, I plan to do both.
Hybrid, right? $1,000
Yeah.
budget. So with your waiting list, I wouldn't spend any of your ad budget on that. What I would actually do is run engagement ads for like videos that you post like on your page. Right?
Okay.
Run ads to just get people to like your page, engage in your posts, maybe run an ad to join your Facebook group. You can drive the link straight to join the group. And just make sure.
Because I need more people in there, so I think that I need to grow the group at the same time.
Yeah, so maybe that's what you do initially while you have the waiting list going.
Okay.
Right? Because that'll start building your retargeting audience while you build your 12-week funnel, right? Your 12-week program, the actual dual funnel system. And once you get the core dual funnel system dialed in for you, before you launch it, like I told you last time, like I'll give you a free session. Just jump on my calendar and I'll comb through it with you, make sure it's ready for launch, make sure you didn't miss anything. And basically when you launch it, you're gonna, as long as you run traffic right now, start building up that warm traffic. You should have enough retargeting audience to start retargeting and getting, sub $15 leads out the gate. Because I will warn you, once you start running lead ads, your lead cost is going to be elevated there in the beginning, especially while you're building up data.
Okay.
So your first initial leads might come in at 40 or $50, right? But we might get lucky, and you might have enough retargeting data to where your first leads start coming in at $15. Maybe they come in less than $10. When I launched the dual funnel system, my leads were $4.60 off the gate.
Wow.
So when I get lucky, you might have a good enough retargeting audience or a good enough hook and offer that people want to just jump on it right away. But that's what I would recommend is, one, the budget that you have right now, run that just as like some engagement ads. Engagement ads are super cheap to run. You can get them for less than a penny per view to just get that pixel warmed up, people engaging in you and your traffic. Build a waiting list funnel so you can drive organic posts, create two-step posts. You want to create at least one post a day, on your personal timeline. I'm going to recommend downloading Big Marv's content map. You can just go to bigmarvscontentmap.com, download the content map. I think I might have even put it in the dual funnel system download. Yeah, if you check the organic traffic folder in the dual funnel system download, you'll see my content map in there. Follow that content map training in regards to what do you need to post organically. Follow that, and the call to action you're going to use is join the waiting list, right? Once you're ready for launch, then you're going to start doing the same post, but change your call to action, obviously, to join the beta group. Run weekly newsletters to your email list about joining the waiting list. I described that for you earlier. It'll be available in the replay, so you can always watch the replay and take notes on that if you didn't take notes earlier. But basically run a weekly newsletter. So that's going to take care of you on the organic side. That's going to start warming you up for the paid side. Now, once you launch, you're going to want to build audiences. Now on Facebook, you can go create a custom audiences based on views. And basically, you're going to create a custom audience based on 3-second viewers, 10-second viewers, 50-second viewers, or not 50-second, 50% viewers. Create those 3 audiences, and then we'll create an ad set running $1,000 a month. I think that puts you at $30 a day, a little over $30 a day. It might be $35-ish a day. But that'll basically, Facebook has this new, they released it in March, so they're called DPA ads. They're dynamic ads to where you can turn on like a lead conversion ad. So that's why it's important to install your pixel, make sure all your pixel events are on your waiting list funnel. So whenever people are driving that traffic, whenever you're running your engagement ads and driving people, you're going to be firing those events. But then when you start running those ads, you can just load in a bunch of variations, right? So we'd set the daily campaign budget optimization budget to like $30 a day. And then we'd use the three custom audiences that you created. And the 4th audience is just going to be no specific targeting. We're just going to let the Facebook algorithm go to work and see what the algorithm can pull back. Now, when you get to the ad part, that's where you're going to load in 3 pieces of creative. I'm going to recommend shooting 3 videos minimum. One video needs to be 15 seconds or shorter. That'll give Facebook the ability to create story ads and not story ads, in-stream ads. In-stream ads have to be 15 seconds or longer. That's that little ad that shows in between videos when you're watching videos on Facebook. You want one to be a minute or less, and then the last one, whatever the fuck you want. It can be up to 5 minutes. Like 3 to 7 minutes is like the most people of cold audience typically wants to engage, unless it's a super good video. But that 3rd one, just have fun with it. You basically want to talk all about your 12-week program. it coming out for the first time, being closed and limited to a free group. When you shoot those videos, as long as you follow this structure, backstory, pain point, solution, call to action, you'll be all right. And you just want to nail that in your Facebook ads. You might be thinking, well, how the fuck am I going to do that in 15 seconds? Right. I'll give you an example just based on my own art. I'll wing it with yours. Okay. So you might want to say something like, hey guys, it's Tamara here. And over the last 15 years as a real estate agent and broker, you can imagine I've seen just about everything out there. So after working with agents over the last 15 years, I've realized the biggest thing that they struggle with is getting leads brought in. So I've developed a 12-week program that's going to show you exactly how you can turn those leads on autopilot. Just click the link below and join now.
That's easy enough.
Right. So backstory was, I'm Tamara. I've been here for 15 years. Pain point, I've seen many realtors struggling with getting these leads coming in. Solution, I developed this 12-week program. Call to action, click the button below to join now. Right. So that's basically what you want to do. As long as you follow that structure in every single piece of content you create, whether it's an organic post, a YouTube video, a live stream, a training, a fucking webinar training, like as long as you just follow that structure in every piece of content you create, you'll be all right. And then you're going to do the same thing. You just want minimum of 3 variations to give the system. So I'd recommend 3 videos, 2 images. And then for copy, headline, description, you can add variations to all those too. 3 minimum on those. And then when you get to the actual call to action part, that's the button. Always test learn more versus whatever the fuck action it's going to be. So if you're running an ad for like sign up now, do learn more versus sign up now, right? Or if you're doing download, like right now, when I launched the dual funnel system, I ran learn more versus download. In the beginning, download got me the most leads, but now that I've left it on, learn more is pulling ahead and getting me leads for like $1 cheaper. Right.
Yeah.
So,
when I was doing real estate leads, doing for my real estate business, learn more always seemed to do better than download when I was doing an ebook or something.
yeah. But I've also had some where download just destroyed learn more. Right. So that's why I just put the variations in there. Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Because I'll show you guys a live example, actually. Because why not? Just give me a second to get pulled up in here. All right, so here it goes. It's loading up now. So here's when I first launched it, right? And I'm actually getting leads for $7.36, which is not a bad price. But my goal every time I turn on a campaign is I want to get those leads under $5, right? So I'm going to keep going until I at least cut it to $5 or less. So Facebook has this new reporting feature. You just go to reports, create custom report. And then I want to pre-frame this by like, hey, if you're running $10, $20 a day, do not touch your ads for 2 to 3 days. Like let Facebook have some time to build up some data before you go looking. Right? Data needs a few days to collect information. Now, if you're running $50 to $100 a day, feel free to check it every other day and make adjustments. But if you're running less than $50 a day, Facebook needs a minimum of 2 days to collect data before you start looking. So like, let's say I'll click here on video, and then I'm going to do this to lifetime. So you can see here the different videos that I've ran: Facebook ad short V1, short V2, Facebook ad long, short V2. So then this shows me how many leads I got. So you can see obviously that Facebook ad short V2 has been my best performing video. Get me 8 leads. But then this one got me 4 leads. Oh, look, this is the same fucking video. So yeah, V2 is just taking the fucking cake here. It's responsible for all my leads, right? And then, all right, so, and imagine that I just have a notepad on my second monitor and I'm tracking what's performing and what's not performing. And the next thing I'm going to check is images, because I put a couple of different images in there. And then I can tell that first of all, my images are performing way better than my videos. Second of all, it shows me which images are performing the best in terms of reach, impressions, cost per result. And you can customize and, you know, add multiple different columns if you want. And this is what I base it on. All right, and then once you find your winning images, then you do the same thing. You're going to check text, which is the body text, the copy. So I put 3 different versions in here. So you can tell that my long copy that tells a good story is my best converting copy, right? But then my short copy that's just straight to the point has only got me 5 leads. So now I know. And then this long copy, look at how much my leads are costing with the long copy, $4.35, right? Where I just said, I want to get this motherfucker under $5. So I'm going to cut out these copy that's costing me a lot of money, right? But you always want to give the system more than one variation to run with. So you want to always be testing a minimum of 2 things. I personally test 3 because I run a little bit higher budget and get data faster. And then headline, it works the same way. You want to just dump all your headlines in there, and then it'll show you which headlines are performing the best. And this is another reason for dynamic, because Facebook takes all your videos, your text, your headlines, mixes them all up, and it just shows them in hundreds of different variations to people to isolate the exact, so you can find your best creative, your best copy, your best headline, your best call to action. So let's take a look at my call to action. So you can see download and learn more. So here's an example where download is just destroying learn more. I got 35 leads off of download and only 6 off of learn more. So when you build that first ad, Tamara, that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to just run a lead ad campaign to your retargeting audiences, dump in a bunch of variations, and then, like I told you, when you're running paid traffic, once you launch, after that, it's all the numbers game, all logic, no emotional decisions. We just look at the numbers and let the numbers tell us what to do after that.
That sounds good.
All right. One of you guys got a question on like organic or paid traffic?
No, I'm pretty good there.
All right. Well, that was pretty much the dual funnel system, and if I were you, how I would implement it for your real estate coaching business. At this time, I'll go ahead and open the floor up to you guys for any questions that you might have.
My brain is swimming, so I think I'm good.
You're like, it was a fire hose of information. I don't know what to do with all this, but luckily, I just showed you guys the automation. So you already know you're going to get an email 36 hours from now with the replay link, this video in it. So you can always rewatch it, take your notes, and follow back up with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. What about you, Milt? You have any questions? All right, I'm going to take his silence as a no. At this point in time, Tamara or Milton, I want to invite you guys to jump on my calendar if you have any questions or if you need any more clarity on the strategy. For any of you guys watching the replay, if you would like me to dive in with you, just like I did with Tamara here, and give you a custom strategy on how you'd be able to implement this for your personal brand or your business, I'd like to invite you to click the link that's below this video and hop on my calendar, and let's see what Big Marv can do for you to implement the dual funnel system. Until next week, guys, I will see you then. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with me tonight, and let me give you a strategy for your brand.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Have a good one. One love, guys.